Hey guys, Mr. Sarabian back for round two of what I'm calling building ecosystems. So if you recall, last time that we met, we were spending our time putting together a brand new ecosystem with all the different parts of what we call the energy pyramid. Now, the energy pyramid simply is a matter of who are the different animals and who are the different parts in this ecosystem and how are they sustaining themselves. So if you recall, we had the light shining down onto our area, allowing plants to grow. Remember, plants are called producers, so they make their own food using the energy from the sun in a process we call photosynthesis. The plants which are producers are then eaten by the primary consumers, i.e. the herbivores, i.e. the plant eaters. Those primary consumers are then eaten by secondary consumers, i.e. meat eaters, and those secondary consumers and even the primary consumers can also then be eaten by the tertiary consumers, the big guys, the top dogs, the main food, the main predators of this particular ecosystem. Now, as I mentioned though last week, this is a very, very delicate setup. This is a very delicate thing. At any point in time, this ecosystem could outright collapse. And when we're talking about an ecosystem potentially collapsing, what we're talking about is something called limiting factors. Now, a limiting factor is basically something that can either hinder or help an ecosystem to prosper. Now, one of those really important limiting factors is known as space. Now, in order to address this, I actually have a special guest presenter, someone who's very near and dear to my heart. She has something very, very important to present. So, Miss Sarabian, take it away.
Hi guys, I'm Miss Sarabian and this is my carnival. We'll start here at the housing area where Snow White is supervising it all. Let's move on to the second story where Crypto is watching all the pets. And the final story, the scientific story, where everyone is testing out all kinds of stuff, like this wheel. And they have extra stuff if they need it. And part of Lex Luthor's bad plan to gather kryptonite and try to get Supergirl and Superman weak. That's bad. Back to Mr. Sarabian.
Thanks, Miss Sarabian. I'm so happy that you had so much fun building this. So, yes, now we're... Oh no. Miss Sarabian, what happened to the ecosystem?
3 layers of the ecosystem disappeared because of that area.
Yeah. What was originally out here?
Plants and animals.
Yeah. If you remember, we had a Tyrannosaurus Rex here, and now that's gone. And we had 2 Triceratopses there, and 2 Triceratopses here. Now they've been removed from the ecosystem. Why were they taken out? How come they were removed from the ecosystem?
Because people started building places so they can live.
Exactly. So I love your carnival, but we had to build it on top of the space that the other animals lived in. Now, Mr. Sarabian, this is going to be a big problem because, well, once you take away the space that these animals used to have, now they have to move in to other spaces.
And this will be really hard.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, why do you think this would be really, really hard?
Because the more and more you take away, the more and more less space there will be.
The less space that you have. Have you ever been in a really, really crowded room or a really, really crowded bus?
Yes, I have.
Well, it's very comfortable, right?
No.
Exactly. And that's the problem. When you push animals out of their natural habitat and you push them into a new territory, you're interfering with the amount of space that's available. And unfortunately, in nature, you have one of 3 choices: adapt, move, or go extinct and die. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is because humans took up space too quickly, all these animals that were once here are now going to die. And that also throws off the rest of the ecosystem because now there are fewer triceratopses to support the rest of the animals here. We've lost a predator, but we've only lost one. We still have plenty of other predators here that need food. So unfortunately, when we removed 4 of those triceratopses and now we're only left with 5, that means you still have a lot of predators that are going to want to eat those triceratopses. And unfortunately, because we don't have a lot of pachycephalosaurs, they're also going to go extinct as well. So all of these plant-eating dinosaurs are going to die out because now they have too many predators attacking and eating them. And when that happens, all of a sudden, every single animal here will go extinct. And that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why space is a limiting factor. And that's the reason why we have to be very conscientious about our building. So then the question is, well, what's the solution? Well, here's the problem. We've already built up quite handedly the areas that we've built up. It'd be very, very upsetting for people to say, hey, stop living in that house. And if you think about it, you don't want to be kicked out of your house, right? No. And unfortunately, because there's so many people on the planet right now, they need space. So the question is, how can we still have the homes that we want, but not affect the animals? Well, let's put it this way. You actually came up with an interesting solution. Your middle story was all about what? Animals, exactly. So that's why one of the things that we are doing as humans is specifically setting aside areas for animals, just for the animals. So basically, the government has said no human encroachment onto this territory. And that's the reason why the American bison have been able to rebound over the last 100 years. So hopefully we can do that with plenty of other animals as well. So that is space as a limiting factor. Next time that we meet, we're going to be talking about other animals that start encroaching onto this territory, specifically invasive species. Until that time, I'm Mr. Sarabian.
And I'm Miss Arabian.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.